It can become super confusing and frustrating when you think you're doing everything right in order to repair the relationship. Staying patient, not pushing, trying to be reasonable, but nothing is changing. When you're looking back at your behavior and you're thinking to yourself, what? We haven't had fights for ages. I don't shout like I used to. I communicate better. I'm not calling as often. What more do you want from me? I'm not making those big mistakes anymore. So why isn't my partner coming closer? But it's not the big mistakes that are keeping your partner from coming back. It's the subtle indecisiveness that they can sense in your energy, your words, and your actions. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 indecision traps that are pushing your partner further away, why it's making you look weak, even if you don't realize it, and how to start flipping the script by leading with clarity and certainty. So if your relationship has maybe broken up or is going through a rough patch, it's completely normal to have these questions in your mind. Maybe should I be giving up on the relationship? Should I be moving on? Why do I have to change for this person? It's completely normal to have these thoughts. The problem comes is that these thoughts can turn into overthinking, and this overthinking can lead to a lot of indecision. And there are 3 main indecision traps that keep you stuck and stop your partner from wanting to come back to you. Not only when you're just repairing a relationship, but after a breakup, indecision is your worst enemy. It keeps you in limbo and it drains your confidence, and ultimately it pushes your partner further and further away. So I'm going to talk about the 3 main indecision traps, how they work and how they show up during this time. So the first trap is the indecision to move on or not. This is where you're stuck between holding on and letting go. This is where you feel unsure whether to keep hope alive or to start moving forward into a different relationship without them. And it shows up by replaying the breakup, looking for a sign that your partner still cares. You're looking through their social media, but you don't take action in your own life. You tell yourself that you move on when the time feels right, but the time never comes, and you're sat there on the fence. The next trap is the indecision to try and work on the relationship or not. This is where you hesitate to take action to fix what went wrong. So this is when you want to go back to your partner, but you're too afraid to commit to real effort. And this shows up in ways where you keep thinking, what if I reach out and they reject me? What if they say no? They've already said that it's over and it's done with, so I don't really know whether I should keep trying or not. You start to analyze every past conversation that you've had instead of having a new one, instead of doing things differently. Or you're waiting for them to make the first move instead of taking the lead. And then the third indecision trap is the indecision to work on yourself. And this is the biggest trap of all. This is where you stay the same or you change ever so slightly and temporarily and expect completely different results. And this is the main trap that a lot of my members start with when we first start working together, is this idea that they've been putting in all this effort to change and grow, but they haven't really been doing it to a consistent or high enough standard. So this trap is when you know that you should improve, you should heal, you should grow, but you keep avoiding the real work. And this shows up in ways where you distract yourself with social media. You spend your time maybe browsing through dating apps or looking through your partner's social media, thinking about the old times, thinking about all the smart, clever things to say to your partner to re-attract them back. Or you scroll on YouTube looking for some magic piece of advice that's going to bring your partner back. This is where you think all the time about change, but you don't take consistent action and the hard work. And if you don't break out of these indecision traps, you risk becoming invisible, not just to your ex, but to yourself. And I want to break down the reasons why these indecision traps happen and how they repel your partner or ex-partner away from you. So the first thing is that indecision is a silent repellent. So when you're sat on the fence and you don't even realize it, this in itself is already hurting you. People don't trust uncertainty. So if you don't really know what you want, neither will your partner. There's a phrase, a confused person creates confusion. So think about it this way. If every time you're in contact with them, you're in this indecision state, it's not going to project confidence to them for them to be able to feel emotionally safe with you. If you're still battling whether to be in a new relationship or not, this is going to come across in the way that you talk. Indecision in every part of your life causes more confusion and it stops you moving forward. And this in itself is one of the worst things that you can do. Think about it this way. If you struggle to make commitment to real decisions and then deal with the consequences, then it's going to be very difficult for your partner to really trust that you know what you're doing. If you're constantly overthinking every decision and you're not ready to plot a destination and to start to head to it, it's very difficult to trust that person, especially when they do eventually make a decision. If you have a trail of indecision behind you, it's going to take a while to repair that trust. So indecision holds you back in life. And it's important to start making decisions. Whichever decision you decide to make, it's important to start making decisions and committing to that decision. And what this will tell your partner is that you're ready to commit to a relationship, even when things are very, very tough right now. Because indecisiveness feeds doubt, and doubt kills attraction. Second guessing makes people feel uneasy. Nobody wants a hesitant leader in their life. This indecision stops you from owning the consequences of your choices because you're constantly seeking permission from other people. Oh, well, I'll work on this relationship if you want to work on it. I'll work on my self-growth if you let me back into your life. It means that all of your decisions in life are reliant on other people's opinion, not just your partner, but your friends, your family. You start to seek permission from other people rather than making a decision and owning your choice. If that choice ends in rejection, then that's what it is. But at the very least, you're making a choice and you're moving forward with it. If you're sat in indecision, you're sat in a holding pattern. So don't wait for your ex or your partner to approve your actions. Move forward with confidence that this is what you want to do. You can always change your path later on, but it needs to be a deliberate action. So leadership means making a choice without needing a round of applause first. If you're constantly looking for validation, you're always going to be a step behind. Next, there's this illusion of keeping your options open. Having a clear view of who you want to become, where you want to go, and how you want to do things is really powerful. If you're keeping one foot in and one foot out, then you're just standing still. You're not actually walking. If you're making a halfway decision, you're sat on the fence, this ultimately leads to self-sabotage because it means that you don't commit to any one decision. You're constantly hedging your bets. A lot of people think that keeping all of your doors open is power, but it actually shows a lot of people a lack of commitment. If you have multiple career options that you're constantly keeping open, it means that you're not confident enough in yourself to say, this is the path that I want to move forward, and this is how I want to do it. So leading with clarity in your decisions means picking a direction and owning it. True power, especially when it comes to self-growth, comes from focused energy. But most crucially, when it comes to making decisions, being clear and having clarity is not just knowing what you want, it's showing it. So if you do talk to your partner or your ex-partner and what you're saying is that you think you want them back, you feel like hopefully you can make it work. This in itself is quite weak because you're not really owning your feelings. So confidence isn't just verbal, it's in your tone, your body language, and your consistency. And people follow that energy. Because the truth is that you can start to repair the relationship, and your intent can be to repair the relationship, regardless of any reconciliation. So if you're setting the direction for the relationship, it means that you're not waiting for your partner to reconcile with you before you do it. And I understand that that may sound a little bit confusing because ultimately, when you think about a relationship, you think about a romantic relationship. But underneath that romantic relationship, there is just a human-to-human relationship. That is the foundation of the romance on top. It's not like when you met your partner, you didn't say any words and you just immediately slept together, right? You had a relationship before the romantic feelings appeared. So you can never get to a romantic relationship without repairing the underlying human-to-human relationship. And this is going to be really crucial. And if your intent is to build that foundation back, regardless of whether they come back to you or not, then this is going to show that you're not indecisive. You made a decision. This is what you'd like to do. And you're doing it because it's the right thing to do rather than just to simply get your partner back. And, a lot of my members start with me in this quite indecisive state. They've been spinning their wheels or sat on the fence for a while, kind of living in hope, hoping that their relationship will repair, but not really doing anything about it. It's only when they start with me and they start with a step-by-step process in order to carve a path forward that things become a lot clearer, a lot more deliberate with their actions. And that in itself, having that path forward and being able to action it every single day shows true commitment to growth. And as a result, rebuild the attraction between them and their partner or their ex-partner, bringing them back. So this is really crucial to know. Once you decide and once you commit to a process, then it gives you very clear steps forward in order to start rebuilding the relationship back in the right way. And if you do want to learn more about this, then join my relationship bootcamp, where you're going to learn the same steps that all of my members start with to start repairing their relationship from the ground up. If you do want to join us, definitely click on the link in the description to grab your spot. So yes, it can feel confusing, especially if your partner has said to you, look, this is over, this is done with it, I don't want to continue this relationship. And that is normal because if you think about it this way, if your partner has experienced tough times so far, they can get into self-protection mode. And ultimately, if you're also in this indecision of like, well, I don't know whether I should grow, I don't know whether I should commit, then this is going to feed in to the way that you interact with your partner. And this is going to reaffirm what your partner is feeling at the same time. And this is what's known as expectancy bias. I've done a deeper dive video, which I'll link to on the screen. But expectancy bias is when you expect things to be the way that they've always been, even when things are changing. And this is what you can suffer from with yourself if you think, well, I can't change, so therefore you stay in the same loop. But your partner can experience it as well, where for a while, as you change, they look at you and they think, this is still the same person. And they can actually sometimes perform subtle actions that confirm that you are doing things the same way. So this is all to do with expectancy bias, and this is completely normal. So I'm going to leave you with that deep dive video, and I will see you over there.